Welcome to the Wireless Labs at the Fraunhofer Heinrich Hertz Institute. Today I'd like to introduce you to this topic of spectrum sharing. Imagine a standard cellular situation where you have several operators, operator 1 and operator 2, operating their service at the same location. And they provide service to their users. You see here some exemplary video services. And these services are operated in the spectrum of each operator. Now, imagine the situation that you have a lot of load in one operator's cell. For instance, by having several users requesting a lot of data rate. And this request eats up most of the resources. So the cell is loaded while the other operator has radio spectrum available. And using this imbalance to our mutual benefit is enabled by the technology of spectrum sharing. Spectrum sharing has the idea that if I have something I don't need now, you need it, let's share it. So we've introduced an entity called spectrum broker in between, which is neutral, and this entity receives resources from one side and hand them forward to the other operator. This operator can support its own users in the spectrum of the other operator. This is possible by means of carrier aggregation, a feature standardized in 3GPP for LTE-Advanced, which allows to steer resources in another spectrum. Now the question comes, what if the other operator has extra traffic as well? For instance, if we have additional traffic demand there, then this operator will offer less spectrum over time because the demand increases and nothing is given to the other. So the two operators operate their users in their spectrum. But imagine we have two almost empty cells. So we have just low data rate requests in each cell, but in one cell, users are indoors. And indoors means that you have extra attenuation due to walls and windows, which I will emulate here by touching the antennas at the user terminal to put extra attenuation. And if we have such extra attenuation, then that corresponds to being indoors. And in order to satisfy the same data rate demand, we have to allocate more resources in the spectrum. So also, if the demand is reasonable in terms of data rate, but the user is at a situation, at a location where the attenuation is very strong, then more spectrum is needed to provide the requested service. So you see, spectrum sharing is a powerful tool to utilize spectrum resources for the operators more efficiently, and it can be used among operators or within one operator's network, where in the latest trend we have a lot of macro cells supported by small cells at the same location. So you could balance the spectrum allocated to the small cells and to the large cells. So I hope I could explain you what is the idea of spectrum sharing and that it is a very powerful means for the operator to use the spectrum in the most effective way. Thank you for watching, and I hope this gives you a better understanding on spectrum sharing provided by Fraunhofer Heinrich Hertz Institute. Bye-bye.